In June 1941, German forces were rapidly advancing into the Soviet Union. Their tanks and anti-tank guns were destroying every vehicle that stood in their way. But suddenly, a new tank appeared on the battlefield that left German soldiers shocked. Shells were hitting it, yet the tank kept moving forward. A German 37mm anti-tank gun fired at it, but the shell struck the tank's armor and bounced off. The soldiers were left wondering what kind of tank this was, one that seemed almost impossible to destroy with their weapons. This was the T-34, a tank that would soon change the course of World War II. The story of this tank begins in the 1930s. At that time, the Soviet Union had thousands of tanks, but most of them were older designs, such as the T-26 and the BT series. Their armor was weak, and their engines were not very reliable. During the Spanish Civil War in 1936, Soviet tanks initially performed well. However, they soon began suffering heavy losses against German 37mm anti-tank guns. This experience made Soviet leaders realize that they needed a new and more powerful tank. In 1937, work began on a new tank at Factory No. 183 in Testing of the new tank began in 1939. Several problems appeared during the trials, such as a short engine lifespan and cramped interior space. Despite these issues, the tank's overall performance was impressive. In 1940, the Soviet government approved the tank for mass production and officially named it the T-34. Sadly, its chief designer Mikhail Koshkin became ill during testing and passed away soon afterward. However, his design would soon play a major role in the coming war. On June 22, 1941, Germany launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union known as Operation Barbarossa. In the early stages, German forces had the advantage, and Soviet troops suffered heavy losses. But soon, German units encountered the T-34 tank. German tanks such as the Panzer I and Panzer II were completely outmatched, while even the Panzer III and Panzer IV struggled against its armor and firepower. German anti-tank guns often failed to penetrate its strong armor. Only the powerful 88mm flak gun could reliably destroy it. Although the T-34 was technically very powerful, the Soviet army faced many problems early in the war. Many tanks broke down, crews had limited training, and supply systems were weak. Sometimes tanks had to be abandoned simply because they ran out of fuel or spare parts. Despite these problems, the Soviet Union made a crucial decision to produce the T-34 in very large numbers. Factories were moved eastward to protect them from German attacks, and thousands of tanks began rolling off the production lines. During 1942 and 1943, the T-34 received several improvements. A new hexagonal turret was introduced, better vision systems were added, and external fuel tanks were installed. German soldiers jokingly called the tank Mickey Mouse because the two round hatches on top looked like Mickey Mouse's ears when opened. However, on the battlefield, the tank was a serious threat. In 1943, the Battle of Kursk took place, one of the largest tank battles in history. Thousands of tanks fought in a massive confrontation. By this time, Germany had introduced powerful new tanks such as the Tiger and Panther. Although these tanks were stronger individually, the Soviet Union had one major advantage: numbers. The T-34 was being produced in such enormous quantities that German forces struggled to keep up. As the war continued, the T-34 became the backbone of the Soviet armored forces. It pushed westward through Eastern Europe and eventually reached Berlin in 1945. The success of the T-34 came from its balanced design: strong armor, a powerful gun, good speed, and excellent mobility on difficult terrain. These qualities made it one of the most effective tanks of its time. Even after World War II, the T-34 continued to serve in many countries for years. Today, it can still be seen in museums around the world as a symbol of wartime engineering. It was not just a tank, but a design that changed military strategy and tank technology forever.